We'll just do what you want to run off of. All right, and welcome here live. It's our Monday edition. Or no, our Wednesday edition. Time just flies by. Here live at 2190 MLK Boulevard at CMAX Southern Kitchen. It's talking season, and we have a lot to talk about today. Arkansas, 2 days away from taking on UAB. Press conference yesterday had Jaquindon Jackson, Andrew Armstrong, and TJ Metcalf.
Don't forget Nico.
And Nico Davile. And those guys, the accountability and the way that they spoke, it was way different from the tidbits we have gotten in the previous years. I thought in the previous years teams didn't want to accept a lot of the mistakes. I thought there was a lot of finger pointing. I didn't see that in these press conferences, and I didn't see that from Coach Pittman on Monday. I mean, this team, and Jaquindon and Andrew said it all in a couple of words, that they know they beat themselves. And that's really what it is. I mean, I know a lot of stats, but 3 turnovers you can't have. 18 points of the 39 that they scored, over almost half, were hand gifted by the Razorbacks. And I mean, if you eliminate the 3 turnovers in that game, it's a way different story. I know you can't do that. And then on the second part of that is you're hearing a lot of people, is this team going to revert back? I don't think this team reverts back. Myself personally, I see this team winning the next 3 games and going into that Tennessee game 4-1, and Fayetteville being a really electric town here in a couple of weeks. I mean, Demetrius, what do you feel about that with all that's going on and coming out of that OSU game?
Yeah, I think it was good. I think, despite the loss, I think they still showed you a different product, and this isn't the same team from last year. I know we get tired of saying, we almost won that game, but I think you definitely have positive outcome from that loss. I think going into the UAB game and actually going forth throughout the rest of the season, you kind of have an idea of what you're getting from this team, and I think they have a winning season regardless of what has happened so far. I think they do have a winning season this year.
I think it's really unfair that this fan base continues to try to create a narrative of Pittman being out and Coach Petrino being in. For one, we're just 2 games into the season. And I think that's really disrespectful to this football team and to this entire coaching staff for a fan base to already try to create a narrative, and we don't even know how this season's going to go. I think the season's going to result in a bowl game. I think this team will win 8 games. I'm going to stand on that, and I'm not going to change it. I've seen enough throughout spring, throughout fall camp, and now 2 games of their body of work to know this team is going to be really, really good. I mean, the second best passing yardage, 645 yards by Taylor Green. I mean, that's throwing the football. Being one of the 8 best in the country right now passing the football, that's Taylor Green. Did they lose? Yes. But has this team played very consistently for the first 2 games on the offensive and defense side of the ball? I think it's fair enough to say yes. Yes. Going into the UAB game, and this question for all our viewers and listeners, what is the biggest key for Arkansas in this game to show that they have bounced back? What do you think you need to see this Saturday at 3:15?
I think it's just to continue to run the ball. I think that's going to be their bread and butter and their identity. I know there's a lot of upside to Taylor Green, but I think this offense works at a way higher rate when they can establish the run and load that box up and give Taylor the one-on-one matchups that I think 9 times out of 10 we have the receivers that can win those matchups. So, again, I think it's just going to be a spacing thing with establishing the run and then continuing to have our defense play sound football. We can't have those second half letdowns. They played a great game that first half, but again, we have to play 4 quarters of football, and I think we'll get the end result we want if they can do that.
This team and Jaquindon Jackson, I think really when you look at this offensive line, they've surprised some people. A lot of people thought you were going to see the same old offensive line, and with the transfers that this team was able to bring in with Carmona, Blackstock, and Nichols, you see a grown man type of mentality on that line of scrimmage and how they're able to get the push and initiate the contact. I think Amari and Harris, what can you say about number 76? I mean, this young man, watching him Saturday, he and Carmona, that left side was doing some serious work. But I still would like to see Tykees Crawford. There's something about – I just feel like Tykees at that right guard next to Blackstock really takes this offensive line and gives this team an even better chance. Because I think the one thing, if there was a down, something that you can get down on, it was the pass protection.
Yeah.
It was definitely the pass protection.
But a lot of that, to me, was one, miscommunication, and then two, the running backs. And,
right.
And I have to put a lot of that on Jaquinty. He's an explosive guy, very exciting to watch, but he's a guy that's so crucial to the offense that he has to play his responsibility. There was a couple of plays that I watched that I think he went outside of what they required and asked of him to do, and it led to some plays that, I mean, at the moment, I think he thought he was making the best decision. But when you talk about everybody understanding what responsibilities and roles are, I think it led to a couple of letdowns. There's one specific play, a screenplay where we saw that he went to take on a block. And as a screenplay, you want the blitzers to come through. Your job isn't to block. Your job is to let them get through and get the ball. So, again, there's a little cleanup. I won't necessarily say mental errors, but I think this unit is still getting used to working with each other. These are all new players, even when you're talking about the offensive line. So I think, again, these are those small growing pains when you have a new offensive team.
I got a shout out real quick again. One of my former players, Cody Hammer, a former Fayetteville Bulldog, was on the first, I believe, state championship team and was the MVP and was grown man football. Cody, give me a shout, DM me. I might have a little project for you. But, hey, we're live at CMAC Southern Kitchen. It's our Wednesday edition. It's on the hill. We'll be back.
Games and a lot of touchdowns. Just how would you say your start here at Arkansas has gone?
It's been going pretty good. Got to get a shout out to those boys up front. They've been doing a hell of a job, and we're just gonna keep the ball rolling.
And then Andrew, that was your first game back. You sure didn't look rusty. I know it was a tough loss, but just how'd you feel about your game and maybe the connection that you and Talon showed?
Man, I felt great out there, being able to get back on the field and just run and play football, with my guys. It was extremely fun. Talon, he puts in the work every day, night in, night out, just to make sure the connection with the receivers are great, with me, Satania, Broden, Tesla, just making sure everybody, is right on time with the way he throws.
And for both of you guys, we're TJ Metcalf's gone. We're going to talk to him here too, I think. In practice, how much did you guys maybe go against him? Jacoby, I know you didn't do much scrimmaging, but what was your take? What's your take on TJ in practice and what he's added to the defense? Because he was a backup and now he's a little bit older and he's starting. Maybe you could take that first.
Yeah, physical guy. He fly around the field. I don't think he does anything half speed. He go through the walkthrough full speed, like he's just full speed, just go with him. So it's a great addition to our defense. And one thing about him, he's gonna come downhill and hit you. No matter who you are, he's gonna come down and hit you. So that's a great addition to the defense.
And like I told TJ, like in the fall, I told TJ, I think I told a couple guys, but I told TJ for sure, like he was one of the most like developed guys like that I've seen in the defense, like from when he got here to where he is now is like night and day. It's like he's a totally different player. Back there, he's smarter. He knows what players are coming, when they're coming. He just got better overall.
Thanks, guys.
Go
ahead, Tom.
And welcome back in live here at CMAC Southern Kitchen at 2190 MLK Boulevard here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's one of several. They have one at 7420 West Sunset Avenue, one on Thompson Street, and their newest one that opened, I believe, just 48 hours ago in Siloam Springs. So if you're looking for great food, and it's a taste, I'm telling you, that you just don't get in Northwest Arkansas. I mean, you can come in one of these amazing establishments here at CMAX and meet with Chris and Amy, the founders of CMAX, and our great sponsors. Just a great atmosphere. You can come in. I'm a big po' boy sandwich. The chicken po' boy, Demetrius knows. I done put a few down, and everybody knows. Demetrius, what is your? I'm not even gonna say that. Who to the listeners? What do you think Demetrius' favorite dish is? What do you think he's always gonna leave out of this building
Hey,
with?
man. Say, man.
And to our winner, several weeks ago on the the UAPB Arkansas game, would you please get in contact with us so we can make sure that you get
Your free C-Max.
your dinner?
Yes,
Here
sir.
at CMAX.
We didn't forget about you. We had a couple of internet complications here in the building, so that's why we haven't been able to get on this week. But we have not forgotten about our game score winners of the UAPB. And I think we may have had one. I'll go back and check the messages for the Oklahoma State game because I think we were online that day, but I think we had the Casey Dick show, so we didn't have time to actually do the game predictions. But because we have loyal listeners, I did see influx of inboxes about predictions, so we did still get those.
And then you have to also take into account, now we want to make a note before we continue on with our show, and we'll be joined here momentarily by my press box analyst, my guy, another Bulldog that does all of the Fayetteville football and girls and boys basketball games with me on the Hill Media. Aaron Ragland will be in. We're going to talk a little high school. Aaron does a great job, and you can also follow Aaron on Twitter. You can follow, is it Rags? We'll have Aaron give out all of his information so you can follow him for all Friday night updates going on. But D, we're going to take a real quick break, you think?
We can.
Let's take a real quick break.
After the game, that was really hot, but Sam described it as like overall body cramps. Can you kind of say how you were feeling?
Cramping. It happens. First full game, we played 6 quarters, so it's just like, it happens. And my body wasn't really used to it, but I promise you it won't happen again.
And for both of you guys, the yardage is there, the third down conversion. You look it over; those are some massive offensive stats. What do you guys need to do to maybe go next level to turn a game like Saturday into a win, Andrew?
I feel like we just need to play better as a team. We beat ourselves, and I feel like if we just make those small mistakes, it's the smallest details, because you can look at the stats. Everybody can look at the stats that didn't even watch the game and be like, how did they lose? It's those 3 turnovers that they're not looking at. That's what, like, it's small things like that just can turn a whole game around. So I feel like if we get those, out the way, and we play more sound, play more discipline, we can come out on top.
Quinn, any thoughts on that topic right there?
Yeah, I definitely agree with him. It was really just the turnovers. The turnovers is what shot us in the foot. That's what really beat us. We beat ourselves at the end of the day, because we had the game. We just didn't execute when we needed to the most. But we gonna fix it and continue to build on it.
Andrew, we asked you about Bobby Petrino's offense from what you last year to this year. What would you say about what the production's been like so far?
Explosive. I said that's the same word I said last time, but I can't really say no more words. You can kick in at that time. People not thinking as much, and I know a lot of people want to say it's on like coaching and things like that, but like I feel like it's on us as players as well, to make sure we're in the right spots. We practice it, we go through what we got to go through, and I feel like us as players need to take more accountability as well when we go out there on the field and have things like that happen.
Yeah, DeQuinn, you were kind of in and out during that series. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Basically what he said. Fatigue.
And welcome back here live from CMAX Southern Kitchen on 2190 MLK Boulevard. It's talking season here on the Hill Media I'm now joined by my color analyst and host of all Fayetteville Bulldogs football and high school girls and boys basketball, Mr. Aaron Ragland.
Yes, sir.
Aaron will be on the broadcast as the Fayetteville Bulldogs host the Texas High version.
Yeah.
Are they the Texas Tigers, I believe?
Texas High Tigers.
Texas High Tigers.
On the other side of the
a week from
Texarkana
this Friday at Harmon Field, the Bulldogs season opener. And as I said, he's our big-time high school guy. Aaron, before we get started, tell the people how they can kind of follow all the Friday night updated scores.
Gotcha. Man, I got my Facebook page, the Rag Report. Go and check that out on Facebook. As I start divvying out into the social media world, I'll definitely put out the Twitter accounts and the Instagram. I try to make sure we throw out games of the weeks. Just around the state of Arkansas, there's so much talent. We normally doing 7A and things up in Northwest Arkansas, but I like to also, add a little feel for the guys down around the state of Arkansas, and that's just something I like to do.
Now, we talk about this week, some big games going on, but first let's talk about Fayetteville, 13-0, 15-0 because they're 2-0 this week. Last week, that team was in a very uncomfortable situation. They hadn't been in that type of adverse situation. 16-0 with about 7 minutes and some change to rattle off 30 unanswered. I know the score was 30-23. Has been Broken Arrow got that late touchdown. But talk about the resiliency and what does that say about Coach Dick and the Fayetteville Bulldogs?
What I can say is, out of this little winning streak, that's the part of a game that we hadn't seen Fayetteville either be a part of or have the ability to win. And just to see them persevere away from home in a different state. You already had a long little bus ride over there just to play the game.
Right.
You had little delays within the game, and from that first half, you wasn't really sure what you was getting, but they persevered. They kept the game plan. The defense kept their head up, and sure enough, after that couple little runs from Odom and that first touchdown and the 2-point conversion, it was the floodgates open.
Something that you never really and you hadn't seen at Fayetteville in quite some time is this football team went for over 250 yards in back-to-back weekends. I mean, when you think of Fayetteville and you think of the Bulldogs offensively, you think of spreading that ball around with the history of having, the state's leading receivers the last 3 years, and Isaiah Satania, Kalen Morris, and then last season returning senior Jason Delamar. This is a new little wrinkle. I know it's kind of hard. There's no Drake Lindsay, and for all fans, even myself included, it's kind of hard when number 5 ain't there. And you're so used because when you talk about Hank and you talk about Bladen and we talk about Drake, since we've been covering this program, Demetrius and I, we're used to very accurate quarterbacks. And that's no disrespect because I think Odom is a very good quarterback. He's on Division 1 for a reason. But what do you think some of the things that this team continues to have to get better at as we get into next week, the big one, and then the following week they get in the conference?
I would say, just to piggyback off of what you said, the type of quarterback play that we've had over the last few seasons has mostly required the quarterback to throw the ball around to different receivers, different options. But this year, as you prepare, you got a Christian Battles in your backfield.
Right.
You got Caleb Johnson coming out. You got Odom coming out of the backfield. That adds a whole nother dimension to your team. And when you got linemen that used to pass blocking and having to get in the trenches a little bit more, I just think that, at times it can be a little confusing. Just to making sure you're getting the right guy. Broken Arrow did a lot of different things on their defense last week where they would line up 3 yards off the ball, and just kind of trick you on who was coming. You know what I mean? Like there would be 8 people all lined up straight across, and you never know who's coming. So, but after they kind of settled themselves down, got that first touchdown down, I mean, Christian Battles just ran right up their back.
Big games of the week. Fayetteville being off this week. Now you have Bryant and Park.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, what are the keys? How you see that game going?
That's about the only. I mean, no disrespect to all the other teams. There's a lot of little rivalry games going on, but if you're looking for a game to go to down in Little Rock, Bryant at Little Rock Parkview is that game, and it's going to be similar to what it was last season. Parkview actually broke Bryant's record.
There you go, Mr. Man.
Oh, man. Look at this fish. They're
there
winning.
you go, Mr. Man. Take it.
Yeah.
This is going to be get a bite. We want to get an air reaction because our listeners and viewers, they love Demetrius' reaction. Is it just that good?
Man. I didn't even have to bite it. Yeah, we're going to let that cool off for a second. We're going to come back to that.
As here's having the fish, the corn nuggets, and the hush puppy
That fish
meal.
is this season, right? Y'all got to come down
I'm
here
telling
for
you,
that.
people,
There
2190
ain't too many places
MLK
that's cooking fish
Boulevard,
like this.
it's different. I mean, this place is different. The atmosphere, it's just different. And I think it's going to be a big-time staple in Northwest Arkansas. This is something that, hey, we're going to continue. This is our family, and we want you guys to come down. Well, we will be here Saturday from 11:30 to 1 p.m. for the A. It's our A pregame show as we'll get you ready for the UAB Arkansas football game. We'll have special guests. Come down if you want to get on the show. We want to interact with people.
Yeah.
Our show's
Come on
about
down.
people. So if you're not doing anything, come down, get you some good old food. You can come down, tailgate with us. Who knows what might be going on here at CMAX, but I bet you're going to have a good time, and you will be leaving here very well informed prior to that 3:15 kickoff. I promise you. I promise you. But from 11:30 to 1, Demetrius and myself and On the Hill, we will be here. Surprising teams, Aaron, I want to get off into now and in the 7A West Conference.
Okay,
One of the teams that sticks out to me is the other Bulldogs, the Red Bulldogs of Springdale. Talk about how surprising. Are you surprised that this team has come out 2-0? And was it very surprising the way they went to Van Buren last week and took care of business?
Honestly, with the way the last few years of Springdale's football, that win at Van Buren last week was a big-time win, and the way they actually did it. It was a close game all the way up into the second half, and Springdale eventually pulled away for a 21-point victory, and that's something that you can build on. With Springdale, especially with the way the conference looks at the moment.
Right.
I know it's extremely early, but you got Benville West and Benville potentially could go 0-3 on Friday.
When have we ever thought that would happen?
Exactly. And you got Northside as well, which is it's a travesty. Since I left high school, what has happened at Fort Smith Northside?
Oh man,
on the football side of it.
But you other sport in there too.
Yeah. You could throw that one in there in basketball as well. But I got a buddy down there, my Coach Whitman, man. He coming from North Little Rock. I think he's gonna bring a lot of energy into that program, and I know we'll talk about that here in a couple of weeks once we get rolling with basketball. But it's down to Rogers and Fayetteville.
Right. That game in a couple of weeks up there at Rogers.
Yeah. Beginning of October, first Friday of October.
That's going to have a lot of bearing on this conference.
And it always has.
Yes, it has. The last 2 years, Fayetteville and Rogers have played some of the epic conference games, and it's just a really good matchup.
Yeah.
Those two teams match up with each other quite
I will
well.
say with the 7A West, it's Fayetteville, Rogers, and then after that it's
jumbled up.
Yeah, it's jumbled up. And we may see a surprise team. We may see Springdale jump up to a 3 seed.
Can the Red Dogs get to third seed?
I mean that would require them to beat
do it?
Benville, Ann Harbor, and these other teams, which is something they haven't done consistently over the last few years.
Now, I know it's early. Who do you have to play that last game in December in Little Rock in the 7A?
Oh, definitely Fayetteville. Fayetteville for sure. But I can say the 7A Central is still a toss-up.
Right.
You do still have Bryan and you have Conway, which, Coach James is down in Conway working his wonders. Grayson Wilson is looking amazing in that 30-point win over Benville.
That bugaboo, which is the Bryant Hornets.
But also you add another 2 layers to that conference with Pulaski Academy and Little Rock Christian, who both have been running through the smaller conferences.
Which one of those 2 schools do you think will be able to adjust a little bit quicker than the other now that they made that jump to the big boy?
I would lean more to Little Rock Christian, but Pulaski Academy, I mean, they've been around. They've been around the block for many years, and
this fish looks really good.
They're gonna make sure, and with Coach Lucas down there, a former Razorback, they're gonna make sure that they have the players and they're prepared enough to play in this conference, or they wouldn't have moved up in the first place.
Hey, also too, now we want to make a note. We're working on Aaron. He's got 2 Bulldogs.
2 of them.
And we're bringing the third one into the Bulldog world. He's coming in. He's slowly coming.
He don't know yet.
But just a great family. And, what makes it so much better is the way that program in Fayetteville, the way that when they talk family in that football program, they really mean it. And when they talk Purple DNA in the basketball program, they really mean it. And that's what makes it so enjoyable. We're going to take a real quick break, and then we'll be back. It's On the Hill, and it's talking season on the Hill Media.
More players here and there. Just has, how do you think, the entire running back room may do moving forward, splitting more reps?
I mean, I feel like everybody in the room know what they're doing. We hold each other accountable. I mean, it's just a fun group of guys that just came together and just bonding. We just having fun playing ball.
And then Andrew, maybe going off what you said earlier, I mean, is there a different spirit to maybe this year's offense than last year, you being here for both seasons?
Oh man, it's like night and day. You know, it's a totally different team as a whole. Not even just the offense. It's a totally different team. Like it's more togetherness. You know, everybody wants to go out there and win. You know, I feel like the team, even after an L, you know, everybody still has that. Oh, I'm ready to go play. I feel like we can win. I feel like, you know, we just like everybody happy. Like even though, like I said, it was an L, everybody still like happy. Everybody know what type of team we have and how good we can be.
Thanks, guys.
Jackson.
Jaquindon, the read option with you and Talon was really working early against Oklahoma State. They might have made a couple adjustments in the second half, but just what are your thoughts on that play and what the two of you, and how you guys maybe can maximize that play?
Like, I mean, we got probably the best bag field in the country right now, if in my opinion. Like, he can run, he can throw, I can run, semi-throw, I guess. But nah, I mean,